everyone, thanks for joining me back. This is the part 2 of my series on why we moved to Portugal and why we moved to Caldas. So in this part 2, we will be going over why we ended up living in Caldas over all the other places that we had seen. Again, if you are new to this channel, welcome. My name is Josie. My channel is dedicated to helping families discover the Silver Coast area as well as Portugal as a whole. All right, so let's get to it. And I'm sorry if there's gonna be some background noises. The children are home today as well as my dog, and he likes to get into everything right now. So anyway, when we went to explore Portugal, we wrote down kind of a list of what we wanted our new city to be like. So I'm going to list off 10 things that we needed and explain how Caldas was perfect for those each individual items. So number 1, we wanted to live in a small city or a big town, and that was 15 minutes to the beach. So as you know, it's pretty easy to find something like that, especially in Portugal, since the majority of Portugal is coastline. But we found Caldas to be perfect because it was a big enough city where you're not going to run into the same people every single day, but it was small enough that you will run into somebody that you know each week. Everyone kind of knows each other. The town itself, I believe, has about 15,000 people in it. I may be wrong in this. I'll write it below, but it's a pretty sizable town, and it is 15 minutes to the beach, give or take, and also the proximity to things is amazing. So within 10 minutes you can drive to so many different smaller towns like Óbidos, Foz do Areia, São Martinho de Porto, and then within 20 minutes now you're into Nazaré, and there's just so many options of towns that you can visit quickly, and I love that. Okay, number 2. I needed access to conveniences such as hospitals, grocery stores, and I mean multiple grocery stores because I like to eat and I don't want to be confined to like one grocery store. What else? I like specialty stores. And what I love about Caldas is the fact that there's so many different specialty shops in it. So for instance, there's a cheese store, there's a bakery. Well, there's loads of bakeries that you can eat from, but there's an actual bakery that only sells baked breads. What else? There's a butcher. There's a seafood store. There is places for desserts. There's just so many different specialty shops. I love it. I love going to those and exploring it. Also, I needed to make sure that, sorry, my dog is so loud. I just wanted to make sure that it's also a working town. So it's not a town that is run by like a seasonal town almost. I didn't want just for things to shut down that I enjoy, like let's just say I love this one cafe, and if I turn around, it's wintertime, the cafe is closed, that kind of stinks, right? So I wanted to make sure that this town was actually open all year long. Because if I'm going to be living there all year long, I want to be able to access amenities like that. Okay, so number 3, I needed access to public transportation. I drive now, thankfully, but I wanted the flexibility to be able to use public transportation in the event that we didn't want to drive somewhere. So what I found out later on about Caldas, which I really appreciate very much, there's 3 different forms of public transportation that Caldas has. One being their city bus, which is called the Toma. It is a small little bus that takes you within the city limits. So you can go from one side of the city to another side, which is really nice. And what's also nice is the fact that kids under the age of 12, I believe, can ride for free. So if you're one of those parents that want their children to have more independence and be able to roam the city center by themselves, they're able to, and you won't have to worry about paying each time that they use it. The other mode of transportation that is available is their train. Now, the train is a little bit slower than the third mode of transportation, I'll tell you, but it's great because it does get you from Caldas to São Martinho de Porto within 10 minutes, and it's like €1. So it's super affordable, and it also goes to other areas of Portugal, but it does take a little bit longer. And then number 3 is the Rede Expressão, I believe it's pronounced. And this is the bus that takes you all around Portugal. So whether it's, you can take it to Porto, to Algarve, to Lisbon, even to Foz do Areia, anywhere within Portugal, it really takes you anywhere you need to go, and actually rather quickly and affordable. So what I love about that one bus in particular, so let's just say hypothetically, I have visitors coming from, like my family's coming from the States, and for some reason, I'm unable to pick them up. They can actually take the bus from Lisbon to Caldas, where it'll drop you off in the city of Caldas, and I believe it's like €7. So it's really, really affordable, and then at that point you can come pick them up and or take a taxi, I believe. So that's also nice. One thing that you should note about Caldas that I found out when I moved here is that Uber is non-existent. So you can't really rely on Uber as a mode of transportation here, or at least a reliable mode of transportation. There are plenty of taxis, so I would just recommend you getting a taxi, getting their phone number, and then calling them when you need someone to take you around. Number 4, I need to be close to an international airport because we fly to the United States and fly to Europe often. So we needed something that we can drive quickly to, and Caldas is only an hour to Lisbon's airport, which is nice. Number 5, we wanted access to good schools. Whether it's private schools or public schools, we wanted access to it. So the great thing about Caldas is the fact that the public schools are actually really highly rated here, as well as the private school that my children attend to. If you are looking for international, Caldas does not have any international schools currently, so that probably wouldn't be the best city for you. But if you're looking for private Portuguese or public system, it is really, really good. And there is another alternative called Brave Generation Academy. That's kind of like a hybrid schooling. So if you're into like hybrids, that's another option that you can do too. Number 6, I needed good weather. Okay, so this of course is very personal to what you think good weather is. But I didn't want anything too hot, I didn't want anything too cold. I feel like Goldilocks right now, but I love the fact that Caldas does have somewhat of 4 seasons, minus the winter-ish, like snow. But it has very mild weather. So I would say in the summertime, it usually ranges from 65 to 75, 80, and then in the wintertime, I haven't experienced it yet, but from what I've read, it's usually around like 50 to I think 60s. I may be wrong though. All right, number 7, a city that you can get by with English. I know I have mentioned numerous times before that I really want to immerse myself and the family in the Portuguese language and the culture, but let's be realistic. When you first arrive in the city, unless you had been studying Portuguese prior to moving to Portugal, more than likely you're not going to be fluent. So I wanted to be able to feel comfortable having to use English when I needed to, such as in the hospital or even at the school or grocery shopping. Until you know the vocabulary, you're going to need to have some sort of assistance, and it's always nice to be able to be in a city where you can find someone that speaks English. And number 8, an area that has an abundance of families with small kids, or kids in general, really. I wanted to be surrounded in an area where there are just plenty of foreigners who, like me, want to raise their children in Portugal, and I wanted to be able to connect with them. So I knew I didn't want to be in an area that is, one, full of transient people that tend to not live there long term, and I didn't want to be in an area such like a big city like Lisbon or anything. Even though a younger side of me would love the idea of living in the city, it's just not realistic with my children. So I wanted to be in an area where I can connect with other families and have our children grow up together. That was always my dream, and I love that in the States, and I wanted to continue that here in Portugal. All right, number 9, affordability. Let's be realistic. I know a good amount of us who are moving to Portugal want to be able to afford a certain type of lifestyle. Now, I wish I could say I have unlimited funds of money, but I don't. and having 3 children in general tends to be more expensive. So I wanted to find a city that fits everything in our wish list that is also affordable long-term. So whether it's rentals, home purchases, overall cost of living, I found that Caldas kind of fit our needs. Rentals around here, depending on what you're looking for, can range anywhere for 500 euros for a T2 or T3 apartment to, you know, upwards, depending on if you want a house or anything like that. So I find it to be far more affordable in this area than, let's just say, a bigger city. All right, and number 10. Okay, this is very subjective to me because I'm sure you guys are much better drivers than I am. But being American, I am used to certain type of roads and amenities in America, to be honest. So I wanted to be able to make sure I was going to move into a city that is drivable for me. Like I mentioned in the previous videos, in America, 1 lane is equivalent to 2 lanes here. So I just knew for my safety and my children, I had to be able to drive comfortably here. Plus spare my husband from driving me and being a chauffeur. So I wanted to be more independent. So I find that the roads here are very straight, lovely roads to drive on. I don't do well with like cliffs and everything, but I'm getting better. So I just find that this area is perfect for that. But overall, I love Caldas. It has fit everything on my wants and needs list, and I hope you guys enjoyed this video. All right, I'll check you next time. Bye!